giving an updated 2026 House election map prediction. So we start off with 209 Republican seats to 202 Democrat seats, and there's 24 seats that I believe will be toss-ups, and those are the races that we are going to look at today. So let's get started. The first race that we have is David Schweizert's race. Now he is in Arizona, and as you know, Arizona went for Trump by a pretty big margin this time around. Same with Maricopa County, and David Schweizert was able to win by 3.8%. Now he does have some of the suburban left-leaning areas, but he also has some of those right-leaning excerpts, and so that's why he did pretty well in this election. And so for right now, I'm going to put this in the tilt Republican column. Another race that we have is Juan Ciscomani, who's also in Arizona, but this time it was a lot closer than David Schweizert's race. He only won by about 11,000 votes or so, and a big reason why it was really close is because he has part of Tucson in his district. Pima County is a very Democrat district, and as you can see, his challenger Engel won it by 19,000 votes, but he was able to make up for that deficit by winning in the more rural red parts of the area. Now, I do believe because it's a Trump midterm, I think there's going to be high Democrat turnout and less Republican turnout in the rural areas of Juan Ciscomani's district. And so for that reason, I'm going to put it in the tilt Democrat column for right now. The next one that we have is Adam Gray's district. Now, this was not very surprising. I did actually see Adam Gray flipping it from John Duarte. One reason is because John Duarte was definitely not the best incumbent. And as we can see, John Duarte went down by a very small margin, by under 200 votes. Like, this was one of the most closest, I'm pretty sure it was the closest House election in the 2024 election. Now, I do believe, even though it's going to be a Trump midterm, I actually see this one flipping back to the Republicans very narrowly, and I'm going to tell you why. I think that if Kamala Harris or someone who's not popular runs in California, and a common sense Republican who's not that far stream MAGA, I think that the California race will get closer, and that will have down ballot effects on some of these races. And so for right now, I'm going to put this in the tilt Republican column. The next race that we have is Derek Tran's race in California. And as we can see, he was able to win it by about 400, 500 or so votes. And he was able to do that because he ran up the margin in the Los Angeles part of his district. And in the Orange County, yeah, he did get defeated, but he ran up enough votes in the Los Angeles part of the area that he was able to win. And I do think Derek Tran will probably win again. Just looking at his district, it actually voted for Harris. He did underperform because Michelle Steele was the incumbent. So I'm going to put this in the lean or tilt Democrat column. I'll probably put it in the tilt Democrat column as of right now. And then the next one that we have is Gabe Evans' district. Now, Gabe Evans is in a part of Colorado that has historically been left trending, but this time it did trend to the right. And there was really a war, you could say, going on between Adams County and Weld County. So in Adams County, Yadira Caraveo was able to run up the margin, and she won this county by 21,000 votes. But then in Weld County, Evans beat her margin in Adams County and won it by 22,000 votes. And of course, you do have this subset of land that is also pretty Republican. Now, I do believe that Gabe Evans will go down in the next election because usually in Colorado, in midterms, there's a lot more college-educated people show up, and Democrats have become the party of the high-propensity voters. And so I actually see this going to the Democrats by a lean margin. The next one that we have is Marinette Miller Meeks' district. Now, for those who don't know who Marinette Miller Meeks is, she is very unpopular. Even though Trump won her district by 8 points, she almost went down 8.5 points. Like, it's crazy. She's very, very unpopular. And if she decides to run again, I think she'll forfeit this seat for the GOP. And so for right now, I'm going to put it into the lean or tilt Democrat column. The next race that I have is Jared Gordon's race. Now, for those who don't know who Jared Gordon is, he has been one of the most moderate members of Congress, and he's been able to win in his district even though it voted for Trump by 9.5%. Now, there has been speculation that Jared Gordon might run for governor, and I think if he runs for governor, I think it's going to be a pretty easy Republican flip. I'm going to put it in the lean Republican column as of right now. And the next one that we have is Tom Barrett. Now, Tom Barrett was one of the few Republicans who actually outran Trump in his district. As you can see, he does have Lansing, which is very left-trending in his district. Hertel was able to win this Lansing part of his district by 40 or 41,000 votes. But then, outside of Lansing, it's very Republican. Livingston, he was able to win by 34,000 votes, 10,000 votes, 6,000 votes, 2,000 votes, and he's a pretty good Republican considering he actually outran Trump in his district. That's very, very odd for a Republican, especially in 2024. So I'm going to put it into the tilt Republican column. Next one that we have is Don Davis over in North Carolina, and Don Davis has really sticked it out, even though it wasn't the best environment for a Democrat in North Carolina. And a big reason why he was able to win is because of these black majority districts up here near Virginia. He was able to run up the margins in these counties. Lori Buckout was not able to make up the margin in these red Republican areas. And Don Davis is a very good incumbent, and so that's why I'm going to put this in the lean margin for right now. The next district that we have is Don Bacon's district over in Nebraska. And Don Bacon has been a political survivor. Like in 2020, he was reelected even though his district went for Biden. Same with Harris. Even though Harris won it by about 5 points, he was able to win by 2 points. And as you can see, the Democrat usually wins the Omaha part of the district, but then he's able to offset that by the more exurban parts of Omaha. And so, just because Don Bacon has survived in some of the toughest environments possible, I'm going to put this in the tilt Republican column. The next district that we have is Gabriel Vasquez. Now, Gabriel Vasquez did flip this district in 2022 from Yvette Herrell, and he's been a pretty good incumbent. In fact, Trump actually won his district, and he was still able to hold on. A big reason of that is because he ran up the margins in some blue parts of his district. In Donna Ana County, he won by 13,000. Same with Bernalillo, however you say that district. He was able to really do well. And also in the Republican areas, you didn't see Yvette Herrell win it by 2 big margins. So just because it's going to be a Donald Trump midterm and he's a very good candidate, I'm going to put it in the lean Democrat column. The next district that we have is Tom Suozzi's district. Now, he was one of the Democrats who really outperformed Trump in his district. He was able to win by 3.6%, even though Trump won his district by 4.3%. And if we see how he won his district, he was able to win all 3 counties of his district by small margins. And Tom Suozzi has definitely been a more moderate person in Congress. So I'm going to put it in the tilt margin as of right now. Then we have Laura Gillen. Laura Gillen also outperformed Trump in her district. She actually flipped this district from Anthony D'Esposito. And her district just has Nassau County in it. So it was pretty impressive that she was able to outperform Trump. I think she'll probably hold on by a lean or tilt margin. I'm going to put it in the tilt margin for right now. Then Michael Lawler's district. Now this, I don't know if Michael Lawler is going to run again. I think he's one of the only Republicans who can really win in this district. He's very moderate. As you can see, Mondaire Jones won this county, Westchester, by 19,000 votes. But then Michael Lawler was able to make up for that in like Rockland County and Putnam County and Dutchess County. And so if he runs again, I would put this in a lean margin, but it does look like he's probably going to run for governor. And then I would probably put that in the tilt margin as of right now. Then Josh Riley, I'm probably going to put this into the lean margin. Josh Riley unseated an incumbent, and it was pretty impressive. He was able to run up margins in the more populous parts like Tompkins County and Columbia County. And then Molinaro, who was the incumbent, was not able to make up for that. So for right now, I'm going to put that in the lean margin. Now, Marcy Kaptur, she got very lucky this cycle. Marcy Kaptur was able to win because Tom Pruess, who was a Libertarian candidate, took a lot of votes away from Derek Marin. Now, that's one point, but also another point is that there's mid-decade redistricting in Ohio, and I do believe Republicans are going to make this to be a lot more Republicans. So I do believe that her 22 cycles of getting elected will be over in the next election. And then Emilia Sykes, also I do believe they're going to redistrict her district and make it more Republican. Then we have Ryan McKenzie. This one could go either way. I'm a little torn about this, but I do think that Josh Shapiro's down ballot effects will probably make this race be tilt Republican. And then we have Scott Perry. Scott Perry has been one of the more firebrand congressmen for the Republicans. I do believe he's going to go down. He hardly made it through, even though Donald Trump did very well in Pennsylvania as a whole. He was only able to win it by 5,000 votes. And this Harrisburg part of his county has become a lot more Democratic, and he's just been losing votes all around. His district doesn't really like him, so I'm going to put it in the lean Democrat column. Then we have Henry Cuellar. Now, Henry Cuellar is under scrutiny. I'm pretty sure he has bribery charges. So, depending on how that case goes, if he does resign, I think this would be an easy Republican flip, considering he was able to outrun Trump in his district by 12 points, which is crazy. Now, just because he has all this bribery scandals and everything, I'm going to have it as a pickup for the Republicans because he might resign after this term. Then we have Vicente Gonzalez. I would see him probably holding on to his district. He's been pretty popular. Mayra Flores was his challenger. She was a pretty good nominee, but he was just able to overwhelm these small Republican areas by winning big in like Hidalgo County and doing well in Cameron and Willacy County. So I see Vicente Gonzalez also holding probably by a tilt margin. Jen Kiggans, she was able to outrun Trump in Virginia Beach. She's a very good candidate. Her district does really like her. So I'm going to put this in the lean Republican margin. Then we have two more. Marie Perez, she did get lucky having Joe Kent, who's a really bad nominee for 2 cycles in a row. But, yeah, I think I'm probably going to put it in the lean margin. She's become one of the more moderate members of Congress these days. And then we have Derek Van Orden, which is the last district that we're going to be looking at. I actually see him going down in this district. Now, I do think that the midterm environment is going to be a lot worse for Derek Van Orden. He also underperformed Trump by 5 points or so. So I actually see Democrats narrowly picking up his seat. And then we also have this Utah 4th. I do think that's going to get redistricted, and so this is going to be my prediction. And also, I could definitely see Henry Cuellar if he runs again. I think I'm just going to put it in the lean margin because I don't see Republicans holding on. So this is going to be my prediction. Democrats 218, Republicans 217. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button down below and subscribe. Shout out to our channel member, Diana Barbie. If you'd like to become a member, make sure to join near my channel logo. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.